Okay, we're using Romaxis software with a Pro 1 sensor, or Pro Sensor HD. You'll double click on Romaxis here on the desktop. It's going to open up Romaxis Planmeca software and take you to the Add Patient screen. Okay, over here on the left it says search for patients. We want to add a patient. Notice there's already a list of patients here. We're going to add patient. It's going to ask you to put in personal ID, first name, last name, and date of birth. And notice those are the ones that are highlighted. So we're going to add a patient ID. First name is going to be Test, which would be the patient's first name. Last name, date of birth, let's pick April 10th, 2008. It stated 2019. Next step is, notice how go to 2D imaging is not highlighted, so it's not going to let you take that next step until you come over here to the right at the bottom of the screen and click Save. It has saved the patient, and you know that by up here on the top it says the patient's name, and that's who you're ready to take an image of. Now you can come down here to go to 2D imaging, and it is highlighted, so you can click it. It's going to take you to the screen to capture x-rays and choose which way you want to capture them. Intraoral study would be a full mouth series or a bite wing that you want set into a layout. Intraoral exposure is a single x-ray, which in this case here at the hospital we want to use intraoral exposure because we can take as many as we want without putting them into a layout series. So we will click on intraoral exposure. It's going to initialize connection, then exposure, then waiting for ready. And you'll notice over here on the right of the table, I don't want you to unclick it, but the intraoral Ethernet control box goes green. While it's waiting to go for exposure, it's going to be blue. Green means go. Okay. We are at waiting for ready. This is your intraoral sensor, and it has a white side and a black side. The white side goes on the inside of the teeth, facing out towards the teeth, and you get that set up on the quadrant of the teeth that you want, whether it's posterior or anterior or mandibular. So in this case, we're going to take a shot of a key fob, and it will take a picture and give us a layout view of what it looks like. This is the x-ray. It's called the Nomad. This is your on and off button, power button. So press it, it's going to come on, and it defaults to 0.12 seconds, which is fine, just leave it there. There's no need to change the time or the radiation. There's a trigger on here to get this x-ray to go into capturing position or enable. You double click the trigger and notice it says enabling, then goes to ready. Okay, we're going to take a x-ray of the key fob, and to take the x-ray, put it right up, in the patient's case you're going to put it right up to the cheek of the patient, right over where the sensor is inside the mouth, and just press the trigger. And you'll notice the computer's still waiting for ready. It's going to end up pulling the x-ray up that you took a picture of. If this is the only x-ray you're going to do, you'll go down here and click done once you've chose the teeth. In this case, we're going to say this is tooth number 21. So we'll click 21, and you'll notice this box says sensor orientation. If this sensor was 90 degrees out, you would click on this button and notice how it rotated the x-ray. So this is horizontal and this is vertical. Or I just said that backwards. This is vertical and this is horizontal. Okay, we've got the orientation of the x-ray correct. If this is the only x-ray, you're going to click done. Otherwise, notice it says waiting for exposure. You can continue taking x-rays until you're done of however many you need to do. All right, this is the only x-ray we're going to take, so we click done. And it has put it into the patient's chart. Now, y'all are going to want to put this on a thumb drive to carry back to your office. Notice up here at the top there are 3 little dots, and this is a drop down menu. So go up to the dots and it says output. The first icon is export image. Click on export image, leave it at a JPEG. You're going to leave it to a folder, and typically you don't want to include the viewer because you can view it in the software you have at your office, or if it's on this laptop it's already got Romaxis. What this would be is if you want to send it over to another type of dentistry or surgeon and you want to include Romaxis viewer with that image, they can actually pull it up in this layout just like you're looking here. They can't manipulate the image or draw on it or anything like that. All they can do is view. But in your case, we just want to leave the viewer unchecked. Notice how it is checked. We want to leave it unchecked. That's default. Okay, here we want to put in the patient's name. So in this case it was a test patient, so we put test. You're going to have your thumb drive into the side of the laptop, into either one of the USB ports. Pull up your browse button here and go to computer and find your thumb drive in this in these files right here. It'll usually be D, E, or F, and click on your thumb drive. I'm just going to pick one here because it's not a thumb drive. You'll highlight your thumb drive, and this will change from open to save, and you'll save it right there, and the image is now on your thumb drive. Okay, once we're done with this patient and you have gotten the patient out of surgery and you are finished with the patient on this laptop, I'm going to show you how to delete the patient off of this laptop and off of Romaxis' record. Come up here and it's got close patient, and that closes out the imaging process, and it shows this patient here. You can right click on this patient and inactivate, or you can come up here and find it in this layout, and it's the bottom one here, and come over here and click inactivate. I'm going to go ahead and click inactivate now, and you'll see the patient will go away once you answer the yes question, and now that patient is no longer in Romaxis. To get back to the other screen that it defaults to, click on this arrow here, and it will come back to where we began by adding a patient at the beginning of this video. Thank you.